The story opens on a Japanese man in bright, colorful polka dot pajamas. When he opens his eyes, he realizes he's trapped inside a glowing white room. No door, no windows, not even a ceiling. Slowly, he walks up to a wall and spots a strange little button. Curious and baffled. He touches it and presses. Instantly, hundreds of tiny, laughing angels burst out from the walls and floor, flutter around for a few seconds, then slip back into the walls, leaving behind a bunch of odd buttons where they were. It turns out this is some kind of lesson stage, a mysterious space heaven has put him in for a reason. He sniffs the finger that hit the first button, then suddenly screams in panic because he's now surrounded by thousands of buttons everywhere. But instead of quitting, he decides to test them. He presses another button and a toothbrush appears. Little by little, he learns each button triggers a totally different object. Sometimes a flower vase drops out, sometimes a megaphone pops out, and hitting the same button again brings back the same item. After a while, he's boxed in by a heap of chopsticks. He looks up and prays, "God, if I did something wrong, I'm sorry. Please, just let me go home." Still, nothing. Then he presses another button. A small trolley rolls across the floor and smacks his foot. He groans, hits a new button, and this time a giant baby butt bursts out of the wall and rips a fart right in his face. Hours go by. The room is now jam-packed with the weirdest stuff imaginable. Worn out, he throws a ball at the wall and accidentally hits another button. A plate of sushi suddenly drops from above. Thrilled, he runs over. Real, traditional Japanese sushi. Starving, he's ecstatic until he realizes there's no soy sauce. He presses a button again. Sushi. Another one. Still sushi. No matter how many times he tries, it's nothing but sushi. Eventually, he gives up and eats the dry sushi anyway, enjoying every bite. But the moment he finishes the last piece, he presses one more button, and, now, a bottle of soy sauce falls from above. Furious, he yells, "Oh, now you show up! You're too late!" and hurls the bottle away. Then he hits another button and gets a pair of 3D glasses. When he puts them on, he sees a tiny baby angel pointing at a special button on the wall. Excited, he assumes that must be the exit. He rushes over and presses it, but the whole room suddenly goes dark. A countdown starts echoing. He panics. The buttons begin vanishing one by one, and from above, the same giant baby butt starts lowering toward him. He thinks, "This is it. I'm finished." But as the countdown ends, the massive butt stops midair and blasts a loud fart right into his face. The next day, we see him again. This time, he's already read 5 comic books, and he's having a blast. Totally hooked, and now he can't wait to read the 6th part. He presses a button, but instead of volume 6, he gets volume 7. Confused, he presses again and gets the 8th, then the 9th. Still, no 6th. Then, after pressing another random button, a hidden panel slides open in the wall, revealing a secret doorway. Overjoyed, he jumps up. Then, in the excitement, he forgets which button opened it. He starts guessing, presses one, and suddenly an African tribesman appears out of nowhere, sprinting wildly from wall to wall. Panicking, the man hits another button. This time, water starts dumping from above directly onto his head. Annoyed, he presses again, and finally the door shows up again. He sprints for it, but it shuts right before he reaches it. He tries again, and the same thing happens every time. Now he realizes the door only stays open while the button is being held down. So he experiments, pressing it with his foot and running, tugging it with a rope, even using a fan to blow air at it from far away. But nothing works. Then, he gets an idea. He sits on the small trolley and tries to glide across the room, but it rolls the wrong direction. That's when it clicks. He needs something heavy to keep the button pressed. He grabs a flower vase and sets it on the button, but the button still pops back up. Then he thinks, what if I fill the vase with water? That'll weigh it down. He presses the water button again, but the water keeps pouring straight onto his head. He moves the vase around, but no matter where he stands, the water only falls on him. After endless attempts, he barely collects enough water to nourish a single plant. Then another thought hits. He starts filling the vase with sushi instead. Slowly, it gets so heavy, he can't even lift it anymore. He tries pulling sushi out, but the vase opening is too narrow, so he uses chopsticks, removing one sushi piece at a time for hours. Finally, he gets enough out to lift the vase again. He drags it toward the button, but right as he's about to set it down, he realizes he forgot which button opens the door again. Panicking, he presses one and the same African tribesman pops out again, slamming right into the vase. It shatters in two. The man screams in frustration, completely losing it. But at last, he finds the correct button again. He tries weighing it down with sushi, but it pops right back up. Then he tapes it down, but that fails too. The door slams shut again, and this time he even gets hurt. A little later, we see him lying there, half asleep, half in pain, after swallowing a bunch of painkillers. When he wakes up, he remembers his daily routine. Time to brush his teeth. He presses the water button, but it's the wrong one. This time, a long rope drops from above, and suddenly he gets a brilliant idea. If he swings on the rope, maybe he can reach the door in time. He grabs the rope, presses the button, and swings with all his strength, and finally makes it through the door, just in time. But inside, there's another door, and this one is locked. Somehow he gets back before the first door shuts, but it smacks him in the waist. Mad, he kicks a random button, and a key appears in midair. He instantly understands this key must unlock the second door. But just like the door, the key disappears after a few seconds. So now he has to do both, keep the door open and catch the key. First, though, he has to find the right button again. Because, of course, he forgot it. He presses one and a barking white dog pops out of the wall. He jumps back, startled, presses another. Same thing. Until he finally finds the right one. He marks it with a piece of sushi so he won't forget. But when he presses it, that same white dog pops out again. Frustrated, he comes up with a new plan. He uses the hanging rope to swing while pressing buttons, but again he fails and crashes hard to the floor. That's when he spots the plunger, the same one he got earlier. And a new idea slams into him. If he uses the plunger to stick himself to the wall, he can press buttons from up there. It takes a few tries, but it finally works. He swings on the rope, sticks to the wall with the plunger, presses the correct button, pushes off, and snatches the floating key in midair. He quickly uses his foot to hold down the door button, slips through, and unlocks the second door just in time. He smiles, relieved, thinking, finally, I'm free. But the door still won't open. Turns out there's yet another lock. This one needs a 3-digit passcode. He panics, rushes back inside, and once again the door slams into his back. Furious, he throws the plunger at the wall and accidentally presses a button. Out comes the African tribesman again. But this time the man notices something, the numbers 7, 9, and 4 on the guy's forehead. He realizes that's the code. He fights through the chaos, dodging everything, pressing the right buttons, memorizing each number. Finally, he types the code and the lock clicks open. He sighs in relief, but the door still won't move. Then he realizes it opens inward, and there's barely 3 feet of space left. He's stuck, wedged between the wall and the door. As he struggles, flashes of everything he's been through flood his mind. The buttons, the random objects, the moments of rage and laughter. And in that tiny space, he finally understands that maybe, just maybe, even trapped, he was never truly alone. Suddenly, he feels a soft breeze brush his face from the wall beside him. Confused, he touches it and finds a tiny crack. Then it hits him. The wall is fake. Without wasting a second, he pushes it open and steps into a mysterious hallway. Countless doors floating in midair, like an endless path that might never end. He runs and runs until the hallway finally ends, and he steps into another room. But something strange happens. His hair starts growing longer, and the bright polka dots on his clothes begin fading. As he stands there stunned, he starts hearing whispers, soft, divine angel voices. And this time, they aren't the tiny ones from before. These are giant angels filling the entire room. They linger a while, then suddenly vanish into the walls, leaving behind hundreds of glowing buttons. The door behind him shuts. This is the second stage, the practice stage. He looks up and realizes there's no ceiling anymore. Angels fly above him, and all around, the buttons seem to control things happening in the world below. He doesn't press the buttons anymore. Instead, he climbs them, using each one like a step on an invisible ladder toward heaven. With every button he touches, something changes on Earth. Flowers bloom in deserts, penguins trip and fall, an elephant dies somewhere far away. Every act of creation, every random miracle now reacts to his touch. The higher he climbs, the stronger his influence becomes, affecting not just nature, but machines, humanity, even destiny itself. A toaster turns on by itself. A man slips on the moon. The line between chaos and divinity starts to blur. And finally, he reaches the very top. His hair and beard are long and wild now, his eyes glowing with calm, godlike stillness. Now he doesn't even need to press the buttons. They respond to his thoughts. He floats effortlessly in midair, like an angel himself. Up here, in this sacred height, he remembers everything. His struggle in the first room, his confusion, his endless experiments, and he finally accepts his role, God. He understands creation isn't done by hands, but by thought, by intention. Slowly, he begins choosing the greatest hits of humanity, the moments worth keeping, the ones worth letting go. As he works, the walls dissolve around him, replaced by radiant wings of pure light. A brilliant energy portal opens in front of him. He drifts into it, peaceful, enlightened. Now he's in the final chamber, the room of the future. On one enormous wall, he sees a glowing map of the entire world. Every voice, every heartbeat of humanity, he can hear them all. And in front of him stands a single gigantic button. He slowly walks toward it, his hand trembling, ready to decide the fate of everything. And just as he's about to press it, The screen fades to black. The movie ends, leaving one last question behind. Was he ever trapped? Or was he always meant to be there? If this story made you rethink reality, make sure to hit subscribe, drop a like, and share it with your friends who love mind-bending stories like this.